Good morning and welcome to today's morning movement mobility session. This is going to be 20 to 30 minutes of gentle activity. You don't need any equipment, just some space, maybe a yoga mat or a carpet to lie down on, maybe some wall support or a chair just in case. But we're going to run through 3 circuits of 3 exercises to get your body moving, get the blood flowing, and hopefully have you feel ready for the day. So for our first exercise, we're going to stand just in the middle of an open space. This is an exercise if you needed to hold on to a chair for some balance, you certainly could. But I'm just going to have my hands on my hips, and then I'm going to take one leg, lift it forward, lift it out to the side, and then lift it behind me. I'm not trying to raise it as high as I possibly can, but just as high as I can balance in place. Again, if you need to use a little bit of balance support or hold on to a wall, you certainly can, but try to engage your core, keep your weight over your planted leg as you just controlled move that leg in each direction. Not too fast, that'll kind of throw your center of balance. Just take your time with each move. And we'll switch to the other side so you don't wear out that leg too quickly. Side, back. If you need to touch your leg down in between each lift, you can. That's even what I'm doing just because it's a little bit more natural. Try not to sway your body or move too much, kind of tipping forward or tipping to the side to counterbalance. Instead, balance with your leg and with your core. Again, 100% fine to hold on to something for balance, especially if that helps you get more out of the exercise versus just spending all of your time wobbling. This will be the last one for this side. And rest. Very good. Then our second exercise is going to be just some gentle wrist mobility with some rolls. So take your hands, I like to have mine in fists, and then I'm just going to really exaggerate the biggest range of motion of a circle that I can do. Especially as you bring your wrists down to this position, you might feel a little stretch on the top. And we're just trying to roll them as much as they'll allow in either direction. You might notice some clicks or some popping. That's totally okay. And then we're going to switch and go the other direction. So just giving you another view here. Often one side will feel a little different than the other. That's totally okay. Just work within what feels comfortable and doable. With mobility, we're not testing the limit, we're staying within what feels comfortable. One more circuit and rest. Good. And then our last one is going to be a little posture and upper back mobility. Starting with your hands in this field goal post position, you're going to bring them forward and then squeeze your shoulder blades together as you bring them backward. Bring the hands forward and then squeeze the shoulder blades. Make sure you don't go into too much lower back arch. Just keep that squeezing in your thoracic spine. That's your upper and middle back. Squeezing while trying to keep the shoulders pulled away from the ears a little bit, making sure they're not creeping up to really engage the neck. Pull back, reach forward, squeezing, and then opening. Squeeze. Last one here. And rest. Very good. So as always, we'll run through our circuits 2 times. So we're going back to the first one. So again, if you need that balance support, feel free to grab it. Otherwise, challenge yourself to work on balance just a little bit. Pick your favorite leg, And we're lifting forward, sideways, and backward. What's nice about this exercise is obviously it's working on balance, but as this is a mobility class, having our hip move in all these different planes, moving forward, moving to the side, and moving backward, is working the femur in that hip socket. Especially with that lateral lift, it's often something that our movements can miss. And again, if you don't want to work on balance today, just hold on to something. One, and then switch sides. So again, forward, side, back. On that other leg now, forward, side, back. Just that reminder to engage your core. Think about stacking your head over your hips, over your heels, so that everything's just in one neat stack. That generally helps with balance when everything's nice and lined up. Last one on this side. And rest. Very good. All right, then that second one are nice little wrist circles. On this one, try not to move the elbows too much. We can sometimes kind of take away the mobility at the wrists by moving it into another joint. So try to keep everything else locked. Maybe it's helpful for you to have the elbows at 90 degrees. Just pick a position to lock those elbows into, and then think about your circles in one direction. We'll do two more. And then reverse and go the other way. So even for me, this is the direction that I just have to think a tiny bit harder about to keep it a really nice, smooth circle. And again, it's okay if mobility isn't exactly the same from side to side. This is even a nice one to do if you're going into a workout with any push-ups or things on your hands, just to get the wrist joint nice and mobilized, lubricated, and ready to go. And rest. And then that last one, we have our field goal position arms, and then we're bringing them in and squeezing together. Bringing in and squeezing back. This is kind of like just the arm part of a cat-cow. We're spreading the shoulder blades a little bit and then squeezing them together. So if ever getting onto the floor doesn't feel like a nice idea, or your hips are irritating, you can still do this move with just your hands. You can even do this seated if you need to. So there's always ways to modify. And I have a post coming out soon over on the HelloStrengthSeniors Instagram page about ways to modify or omit or swap in things if you ever feel like a move just isn't for you. So be on the lookout for that if you often like to have a substitution or need a modification. And rest. Very good. And then we're going to move down into our floor portion for today. So just make your way onto the floor. Hopefully a nice soft surface that's comfortable. And just lay on your back for our first exercise. And have one leg out straight. If that's uncomfortable, you can have it bent if that kind of pulls on the lower back. And then with this other leg, you're going to pull it in towards your chest, not too far. And then we're going to do a hip circle in this position. So we did that forward and side movement in our first exercise. And now we're doing this circular motion for the hip with our second circuit. We're going to do about 5 or 6 circles each way. So now reverse and do whatever direction you weren't just doing. And again, it doesn't have to be a crazy big range of motion, just a nice, comfortable circle. and rest. Then bring the other leg in, straighten the other one out or keep it bent. Pull this in towards your chest a little, and then do those 5 circles in each direction. 4, 5, and other way. 1, 2, 3, not going too fast. 4 and 5. Very nice. All right, moving into our second exercise is going to be a little bit of core with an overhead reach. We're going to do some heel slides. So press your spine down into the ground so that we're not engaging the lower back. And then we get to work a little bit of everything as we slide one heel away from you and bring your arms into an overhead reach. And then as you bring the heel back, return those arms to the start. We're going to alternate sides. So we're getting some nice overhead mobility, keeping that spine pressed into the ground. Now for some people, especially if you have a little bit more rounded shoulders, if you need to have your head supported on a pillow or a cushion, that would totally be okay, especially since we're asking that lower back to stay glued to the ground. So definitely feel free to do what you need to do to make this position even more comfortable for you. And you can also not extend your leg as far if you find that makes you lose the contact with the floor with your spine. We'll do one more on each side. Back in. And the last one. And back in. Very nice. All right, and our third exercise in this circuit is going to be in the hands and knees position. So find some nice cushion for your knees if you need it. You could double up your yoga mat. And we're going to start in just a little bit of a rounded position. Not extreme, but just if you find arched, flat, a little bit rounded. And then we're going to do single arm or single limb extensions. So first I'm going to raise one arm up to shoulder height, then the other one. And then I'm going to extend one leg, just straight, even with my hips as I lift it, then the other one. And then arm again, staying a little rounded, arm, and then leg and leg. We'll do one more time each side, arm, slow and controlled all the way up, arm, and leg, and leg. Very good. Kind of a nice relaxing one. And then we'll go through this floor circuit one more time. So find your way back onto your back. Take a moment to get yourself there. And take a breath just to let yourself transition. And then straighten out one leg. Tuck that other knee in. And we'll do those 5 hip circles each direction. 3, 4, 5, and reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Then straighten that leg out, bring the other leg in, gently grab on, and then we'll do our 5 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Very good. All right, and then bring both knees in for the start of the second exercise. Arms go straight up. And then most important part is pressing that spine into the ground so you don't have an arch at the lower back. And then one heel at a time, lowering both arms to the ground. If you can touch the ground, feel free with the arms to do so. For me, I have my thumbs touching because my palms are facing in, so my thumbs reach the ground. Again, nice and controlled movement, not going for speed or momentum. We're going for controlled, deliberate movement. And maybe you find with your arms, they're able to lower a little bit further than the first round, being a little bit more warmed up. Just try to keep the arms straight as you get that range of motion. We'll do one more on each side, down and up. Last one, down and up. Very nice. Alrighty, and then the third one is flipped over in that hands and knees position. So give yourself a moment to get there. Hands right under shoulders, knees right under hips, and then just a tiny bit rounded at the back. And then it's going to be one arm lifts, back down, other arm lifts, back down, one leg extends, back down, other leg extends, and back down. Again, just go at your own nice, slow, controlled pace, trying not to let anything else really shift as you move that arm or leg. Nice and controlled. Focus on your breathing. There's always that potential reaction to hold your breath when you're really focusing or when things are really engaging. So make sure to get the muscles some oxygen. This will be your last one on each side. Arm, arm, and leg, leg, and rest. Very good. Alrighty, and then our last one, last circuit is going to be standing. So give yourself a moment to get back up here. And we're going to start with a shoulder mobility exercise, some stir the pots. So start with your hands just even with your shoulders kind of in front of your armpits here. And then we're going to bring them out, forward, and back in a nice big swooping motion, squeezing the shoulder blades a little bit as you bring the elbows back. We'll do one more. And then as you probably can guess by now, we're going to switch directions and go the other way. This is a nice one to do if you have a mirror. You can make sure that your elbows aren't dropping down low, but everything is staying at the same level from your hands to your elbows to your shoulders. And rest. You might even feel that engaging with the shoulders a little bit. All right, second one, we're going to do a hip hinge with hands on your hips. Stand with feet shoulder width apart. And then think about keeping your back really straight like a plank. And then we're going to reach the hips backward as the knees bend a little bit, feeling a hamstring stretch, and then coming back to the top. I'm reaching my hips backward, not just bending over at the torso, so that it really is a movement from the lower body, initiating it with the hips, and that flat plank of a torso moves forward just as the hips are lowering. One more. And rest. Very good. And then our last one is going to be a nice gentle neck stretch. So for this one, two options. You can just slightly tilt your head to the side. If that feels like enough, that's great. If you want a little more with this arm, you can think about reaching those fingertips to the floor to feel even more of a stretch here. And just take a breath in and out. And one more. In and out. And then come back to center. And then drop to the other side gently. Or if you want a little bit more, think about reaching those fingertips down. It's kind of crazy how much more you can feel right in that neck, maybe in the trap, if you actively think about pulling the shoulder away by reaching those fingertips. And take a breath in and let it out. One more in and out. Very nice. Okay, one more time with those three, and then you are done for the day. So the first one, those stir the pots, starting with hands right here, and then going out, give you a side view, forward, little shoulder blade squeeze right here. That's how we get a little bit of extra posture involved. Nice swooping motions. This can kind of serve as a reminder of how to stand all day, standing nice and tall like there's a string, pulling your head up towards the ceiling. One more this direction, and then reverse it. Keeping those elbows high, reaching, pulling, trying to be as even as possible, but as always, sometimes the sides of the body are just a little different from one another, and that's okay. Last one. And rest. Very good. And then that second one, our hip hinge. This is a nice hamstring stretch as we have hands at the hips, feet shoulder width apart, pushing the hips back and then pushing them forward. Reaching, feeling that hamstring stretch and coming back up tall. And one thing you want to do is make sure at the top, don't overextend with the hips and get into the lower back. Just think about pushing the hips forward till you're at that straight hip extension. Hips go back and forward one more time, really trying to feel that hamstring stretch and forward. Very good. All right, the nice last one of the day is that side neck stretch. Again, you can just be here. You can reach those fingertips down, or for the last one today, if you want to just gently pull on those fingertips, you can, not too hard. You don't want to overdo this one. Take a breath in and let it out. One more breath in and out. And then other side. Again, maybe just tilting, maybe reaching the fingertips, or maybe lightly grabbing onto those fingertips as we do our 2 breaths. And exhale. And one more time. And out. Very nice. Okay, I hope that your whole body feels just a little bit looser and ready to tackle the day. Maybe you have some cardio or some strength coming up. Again, head over to HelloStrengthSeniors Instagram if you want some more tips, and again, posts coming later this week about modifications. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see me cover over there, kind of education or exercise wise. And we will see you same time next week for more morning mobility. See you then.